I'm sorry, but that black slave right there, believe me, she wasn't happy about doing that. The white woman that's standing there that they're making that has like a crown of olives on her head and making it look like she's protecting the slaves, and that depicts that there are black slaves fighting alongside their slave owners. There's nothing recognized. The secretary, and Scott, you're really quiet on this. I would love to hear your perspective.
Let me say this.
Yeah, me too. I want to know why you guys support a party that wants to elevate the lost cause of traitors.
Wait. You just put words in her mouth. I live in that statue. You don't topple it in the middle of the night with a bunch of criminal thugs. You do it through the process of the city.
Okay, so are you okay with them putting? Okay, fine.
So you go through the process. Well, Arlington is a complicated place. It's a
yes or no answer. No. It's a yes or no answer. This is a yes or no answer.
I think. Not sure. Look. I don't know how he arrived at the decision. My personal view is it statute?
Hello, everybody. Guys, let's get right into this segment. Republicans, they simply cannot push back against any racism, no matter how obvious. This is so disgusting. The way they twist themselves. I'm getting really sick of watching this. They know who the Republican voters are and what they are about, and it's why they just simply refuse to push back. Check this out. It's sickening.
So tonight, the Confederacy is trending again, at least in the form of two statues. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordering the return of a statue honoring the separatists built by a Confederate soldier. Hegseth says the, quote, reconciliation monument should have never been taken down by, quote, woke lemmings, claiming the administration doesn't believe in erasing U.S. history. And it comes just a day after the White House announced it is bringing back the only statue in Washington, D.C., honoring a Confederate leader, which was brought down during the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. Let me just tell you what one of these statues is, the one in Arlington by Moses Ezekiel, a Confederate soldier who puts the lost cause myth that the Civil War was not a war to keep slavery, that slavery was a positive good. Anyway, what do we think about the return of these statues?
John, a statue is celebratory, it's praise. If we want to preserve history, we have history books and we have museums. I'm America first. I support Americans first. And as a Black American, no understanding the history that Black Americans built this country against their will. And before we even get to reparations, didn't even get so much as a thank you. The Confederates were traitors and they lost. We should not be building monuments to nor supporting the losers.
I'm interested in what
Forget thank you. They've been punishing Black people ever since.
you guys think.
Yeah, me too. I want to know why you guys support a party that wants to elevate the lost cause of traitors.
Wait. You just put words in her mouth.
I'm
I live in Alexandria, Virginia. We have a street named for Roger Taney, who wrote the Dred Scott decision, one of the 2 or 3 most despicable decisions in the history of the Supreme Court. He should not be honored with a street. It was a street that was picked during the height of segregation. It was not, he has nothing to do with the city. That should be gone. But we have a process by which you get a statue in Washington, D.C. One of the statues in question was paid for by the Masons. If you want to get rid of that statue, you don't topple it in the middle of the night with a bunch of criminal thugs. You do it through the process of the city.
Okay, so are you okay with them putting, fine.
So you go through the process
we'll
and take down the
statues. Are you okay with the
happen.
statue that is being put, the monument that's being put back in Arlington Cemetery?
I don't know much about that statue.
I'll tell you about it.
Says
So
it's
I
a
will tell you about it.
statue. I don't know
But
about
Pete
it.
Hegseth needs to pick up a book unless he's okay with the lost cause, because that statue is a statue that is romanticizing the lost cause and the Confederacy. It depicts what that we just showed on CNN. It depicts a black slave handing over a baby that the Confederate soldier who's going off to war, and making it look like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're going off to war. They are traitors and treasonous. And I'm sorry, but that black slave right there, believe me, she wasn't happy about doing that. The white woman that's standing there that they're making that has like a crown of olives on her head and making it look like she's protecting the slaves, and that depicts that there are black slaves fighting alongside their slave owners. There's nothing reconciliatory about anything with that statue. And not only that, Moses Ezekiel's own family, 22 members of his family, wrote a letter to the government saying, you know what? This is not okay. It should be removed. Put it in a museum. So why is Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of Defense, putting this back? Because Lloyd Austin, our other Secretary of Defense, one who's actually qualified to do his job, took that down because he recognized what an affront it is to Black Americans and the original sin of this country. So why is Pete Hegseth putting it back and honoring these traitors?
They just won't answer that. And thank you, Tara. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? You need to have passion when speaking about these issues. That's why I greatly appreciate people like Tiffany Cross, Jasmine Crockett. It puts fear into these bigots and makes them squirm, as you see here. They refuse to answer. And for the world to see this, corner them and make them answer or panic. Make it clear who this party is. That's what these formats are for, these debates, right? Get in their face, answer the question, so that no one has any doubt of the party they vote for and what they stand for. The party of Christian values, right? They're essentially saying, this guy is essentially saying, yeah, it's racist, it's abhorrent. He didn't even say it was racist. He just said it was abhorrent. But it's about the process of removing a statue. We like a nice and ordered process, but they don't care about process when it comes to deportation, right? Interesting how that works. Guys, the reason I talk about this so much is not to be like, oh, look, another video of Republicans being racist. It's more to show the consistency, the pattern, how it's used as a marketing tool, as a tool of distraction at times. Even more importantly, that the reason the Republicans use racism as a tactic to distract or to market themselves is because they understand the majority of the voters and what they want, their voters. For anyone who is slightly stupid and hasn't noticed yet, it's their favorite tree. It's their favorite pet tree. The juicy red meat they desire above all is racism. It's a special. This is why I'm especially hard on Black Republicans or Hispanic Republicans, because it's like, damn, like what else do they need to show us? They effing despise us so deep to their core. It's fundamental to who they are. It drives me up a wall to see any person of color that can support these monsters. If we could just unite, and Hispanics especially, voted like Black people do, these people will have to change the way they behave real quick. This in itself will change the lives of millions of Black and brown people for the better, as it trickles down to everything: business, power and politics, media, everything. I don't care too much to change people's heart. I'm not a god. If I can on the way, great. What I really want to do is change the balance of power, to make it so that these people won't have a slight thought to do or say some racist crap, because simply it just isn't beneficial to them anymore. Simply put, it's never going to end if it's seen as a tool to win election, power, wealth, whatever it is.
In my opinion, every single Confederate monument is an act of cultural terrorism. And I'll tell you why. This movement, the Lost Cause movement, arises out of a post-Reconstruction time where the Confederate battle flag is adopted, where the Ku Klux Klan arises and comes to power, all for one reason. And these monuments and these people are romanticized, all for one reason: to control and terrorize Black people.
That's right.
So moving away from those monuments, from celebrating those people, is actually a strong sign of actual reconciliation, that we don't want Black people to live in fear of racial terror and slavery anymore. And to repower those things and those images is saying, it's to me, saying the opposite of that. But here's the difference. I'm not about to cry over the statue. You know why? Because we're not scared no more. We're not afraid. We never really were. We're not afraid of statues. We're not afraid of the cultural terrorists. Our eyes are wide open in terms of what America means for us. And if the president and his administration want to cozy up to the worst parts of American history, we see them. Point blank, period.
But they should be asked why they're
I
okay
agree
with
with you
it.
that Lost Cause statues that were put up that were intended to terrorize Black Americans well after the horrors of the Civil War, it's inappropriate. The question is whether those statues should be removed.
It's racist. Just say it's effing racist. Inappropriate. It's insensitive.
In the middle of the night by violent mobs,
that's-
so they'd be removed by
Okay,
through
so
government
but should they be put back? But that's not. So again, I go back to: should the Secretary of Defense be putting a statue back that was properly removed? Should he be putting it back, glorifying people who were traitors to this country and lost, correct?
Well, Arlington is a complicated place. It's a.
Is it a yes or no answer?
Unbelievable.
Yes or no answer? This is a yes or no answer.
I told you I agree with you.
Okay, but you haven't said, should the Secretary,
Incredible.
and Scott, you're really quiet on this. I would love to hear your
Let
perspective.
me say this. Go, Scott, quickly, if you want to get in.
Yeah, a few things. I don't agree with the destruction of public property.
It's not what we're talking about.
Number one. Number two, I generally have believed that Confederate statues, however and wherever they've been put up, I know there's a lot of people that would say they put them up for different reasons. I'm a supporter of museums. I like museums. I like when museums tell the full story of American history. I don't have any problem at all with problematic statues being put in museums. I do like the idea of a process being followed. This one in Arlington, Brad's right, Arlington is a complicated place, and what the ground was and what the grounds were originally, it is complicated. So my general view is that I want to celebrate as much as possible the Union. I come from Kentucky, and yes, we did birth both presidents of the Confederacy and the United States, but I'm a Lincoln guy, and I tend to be a Union supporter. I want as much Union praise and Union generals and
So
Union
then you're
soldiers as possible.
not okay with what Pete Hegseth is doing because
He won't
Sounded
say
think
like
that-
you're uncomfortable, but not sure.
Look, I don't know how he arrived at the decision. My personal view is it statues like that
incredible.
So does it romanticize
would probably be best in a museum. That's
All right.
my
Okay,
general-
We're gonna
well,
leave
you
it there.
said
We're gonna leave it.
romanticizing the Confederacy that has plagued this state for far too long is something we wish to not engender. So I hope that you still believe that because you wrote that in 2015.
I literally just said I would
But you-
rather the Confederate statues be in a
But
museum.
you won't say that they should not put it back.
I literally just said the statue should be in a
Effing
museum.
coward.
Hard to
Okay.
agree with.
Ariel,
Well,
hang on. We're going to take a quick break.
Respect.
Everyone, thank
Effing coward. They just can't. But again, look at my past videos. And look how he fights for the Jewish people. Protests on campus. Incredible. And I talked about this a few weeks ago, about all this Epstein crap, and watch how Republicans use racism to distract. And sure enough, since then, Trump has gone after Obama, Beyonce, Oprah, wants the Washington Redskins names back with the Cleveland Indians. Like, and if we go back to the beginning of his administration from 8 months ago, it's a long list, removing pictures of black and brown people from the White House. Maya Angelou, Jackie Robinson, Black History exhibit funding was taken away from the Smithsonian. Removed a black 4-star general because Hegseth said he thinks he could be a DEI pick. I mean, like, what else do they need to show us? Alligator Alcatraz. One of Trump's closest advisors, Laura Loomer, said that they will be well fed since the U.S. has 65 million Hispanics, which includes legal American citizens that are Hispanics. Trump just said yesterday Hispanics are naturally built for farm labor. Mentioned that inner city people, which he means black people, don't want to do them. Because as you recall, he said immigrant jobs are black jobs. He was along with all his races that once you get the illegal immigrants out, that the idea was that the black people were going to do these jobs. They will be out in those damn fields. And I've said this many times before, guys. We need to put these differences aside. Black and Hispanics. Arabs and Jews. They effing hate us all. These Republicans, these conservatives, they hate us all in unique and special different ways. They think we're subhuman. As long as we stay divided one way or another, we have no real chance. I'm getting sick of watching this. Like, the tipping point for me was seeing Hispanics vote the way they did for Trump. Damn near half. That got me off the couch real quick. I see the boulder rolling down the hill. And at the bottom of that hill are black and brown people. At least first. There's more behind us. And I'm not about to let that happen on my watch. I will literally do anything to stop it, by all means necessary. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. Really helps the channel. Really helps push the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.